Does it make sense for the iPhone 17 to cost more? Probably. But does Apple have to raise the price? Absolutely not. Yet, according to multiple reports, Apple is about to do just that. For the first time in almost a decade, the iPhone's price tag is expected to climb. Rumors suggest that the entire iPhone 17 lineup could get a $50 bump when it's unveiled on September 9. That means the base iPhone 17 could start at $80.49, while the iPhone 17 Pro may begin at $149. And to make things even more interesting, Apple might ditch the 128GB option for the Pro models, just like it did with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. On paper, the increase looks small, but in reality, it forces customers to pay more for the same storage. So why is Apple considering this move? And more importantly, should they? Let's start with Apple's biggest excuse: stability. Believe it or not, the price of Pro iPhones hasn't gone up in 8 years. Back in 2017, the iPhone X made headlines with its $999 price tag. It was a shock at the time. If we adjust that number for inflation, today's equivalent would be around $300. By that measure, the Pro iPhones have actually become cheaper over time. That's the argument Apple could use. We've been holding the line for nearly a decade, while everything else in life has gone up. And to be fair, it's not a bad point. Think about it. Sony recently raised PlayStation 5 prices by 50%. Nintendo increased the cost of the Switch by about 10%. Microsoft hiked some Xbox models by as much as 100%. Even outside of hardware, streaming services are getting pricier. Spotify admitted that raising prices is now part of their business toolbox. And Apple itself, a monthly price of Apple TV Plus from $9.99 to $12.99, though the annual subscription stayed the same. So, in this world where everything from consoles to subscriptions costs more, Apple could easily justify a 50% increase. But here's the thing, just because they can doesn't mean they should. Why? Because the iPhone, despite its reputation as an expensive status symbol, has actually become one of the better deals in premium smartphones. Foldables from Samsung, Huawei, and others cost way more. If you're looking for something that screams luxury, those devices already exist. But the iPhone has positioned itself as a blend of premium quality, longevity, and ecosystem value. Raising the price could break that balance. And when we look at competitors, the contrast gets sharper. Google's Pixel 10 series launched at the exact same prices as before. The Pixel 10 Pro still starts at $90.99, a direct rival to the iPhone 17 Pro. Samsung took a split approach, raising the Z Fold 7 by $100 but keeping the Z Flip 7 at $199. That means Apple would be the one leading the charge on higher prices right before the all-important holiday season. So, the real question is, will buyers accept it? For some, 50 might not sound like a big deal. But psychology matters here. Any increase, no matter how small, makes people think twice. Do you really need the upgrade this year? Or should you wait another generation? Maybe even grab a cheaper Android. Apple itself admitted that tariffs have already added $800 million to its costs, with another $1 billion expected in the next quarter. And yet, despite those numbers, the company still reported record growth. That shows Apple has the financial muscle to absorb higher costs without passing them to customers. And in today's cost of living crisis, where everything from food to housing is draining wallets, keeping iPhone prices steady could be Apple's smartest long-term move. It would not only soften its image as an overpriced brand but also put pressure on Samsung, Google, and other rivals. Imagine the headlines. Apple holds prices while everyone else raises them. That kind of goodwill could attract more customers into Apple's ecosystem, boosting services like iCloud, Apple Music, and Apple TV Plus. But if Apple goes through with the hike, here's what might happen. Many buyers will downshift, choosing the standard iPhone 17 instead of the Pro, or maybe going for last year's iPhone 16. Others could leave entirely, switching to cheaper Android flagships that deliver plenty of performance without the Apple tax. At the end of the day, yes, Apple can argue that $80.49 is still cheaper than what the iPhone X would cost today if adjusted for inflation. Yes, they can point to the rising costs of everything else around us. But here's the reality, Apple doesn't need to raise prices. The company has the margins, the brand power, and the customer loyalty to keep things steady. So, does it make sense for the iPhone 17 to be more expensive? From a numbers perspective, sure. But from a customer-first perspective, from a brand reputation perspective, the answer is a clear no. September 9 will tell us whether Apple chooses to lean on its excuses or seize the opportunity to surprise us with restraint. And if history has taught us anything, it's that Apple rarely leaves money on the table.